Boker Or, Masechet Nedarim Daf Samech Amud Aleph. We are starting a new perek, Perek Shemini, 8th chapter of Nedarim. Chanukat Sameach, and also Bezrat Hashem Chodesh Tov, and that's what we're going to be speaking about, right? The Chodesh. Kunam Shani Ayayin Shani Toem Ayom. A person comes and he says, Kunam Yain, that he prohibits about himself wine that he's going to eat today, to drink today. Eno Asur Ela Ad Shetechshach. So he says it's going to be prohibited until the nighttime. Shabbat zo, if it's going to be this week, asur bechol Shabbat. It's going to be prohibited the entire Shabbat, which means the entire week. Because he said Shabbat zo means the entire week, and Shabbat shavra, and also the Shabbat, the next Shabbat, is going to be considered part of the Yisur, because since the Shabbat Abba is counted with the previous week, so therefore it's going to be prohibited as well, right? Because, for example, he's Tuesday or Wednesday, and he says this week. So this week includes the Shabbat. Chodesh zeh, if he says that he's not going to taste it during this month, asur bechol chodesh, he's going to be prohibited the entire month. But he says Rosh Chodesh le'aba, but Rosh Chodesh is going to be for the next month. So therefore, if he did it today, or not today, yesterday, let's say, so it's going to finish off, and then the Rosh Chodesh is going to be for the next month. Shana zo, this year, yeah, he comes and he says asur bechol shana, it's going to be prohibited the entire year. The Rosh Hashanah latid lavo, and Rosh Hashanah for the future as well. Okay, which means also, right? That's what he's coming and saying when he says this year. So the entire rest of the year is going to be prohibited, but Rosh Hashanah is going to be for the next year. The Rosh Hashanah. Remember, every time that it says she'avra, it's past. When it says lehaba or latid lavo, it means it's on the next one. So therefore, it's going to be the next one coming up. 1 minute. No. He says this year, he finishes the year. The Rosh Hashanah is next year. Is another so count.
Rosh Hashanah is finished.
Yes. Shavua zeh. If he says the Shnot Shemitah, because beforehand it was going to be Shabbat. The Shabbat was the week. Now this Shavua is not just of a week, right? Even though we say Shavua, it's really the years of Shemitah. So it says Asur b'chol Shavua. It's Asur the rest of the years of Shemitah. U'shvi'it shavra. And the Shvi'it is also counted with the previous count. Just like the Shabbat was counted with the previous count. Shavi'it is counted with the 7th year is counted with the previous years right beforehand. Now if he comes and he says Yom Echad or Shabbat Echad or Chodesh Echad, Shana Echad, Shavuot Echad, but if he comes and he says 1 day, 1 week, 1 month, 1 year, the 7 years, the 7-year cycle, Asur Yom Liyom. So then it's going to be Asur Me'et Le'et. Me'et Le'et means you go from the time of the Neder until that time the next day. And in the rest of the cases, it's going to be Asur until that Yom of the Machzor Habba'ah. Okay, we're almost finished the Mishnah. It says Ada Pesach. When it says Ada Pesach, Asura Chiagia Ad Chiehe, Asura Chietze. All right, he says like this. If a person comes and he says until Pesach, Ada Pesach. So it's Asur until Pesach comes itself. But once Yom Tov Rishon Pesach comes in, Mutar. Why? It was until Pesach. Now it's Pesach, Mutar. If he says Ad Chiehe Pesach, until it's going to Asura Cheitzeh, so then it's going to be until exactly after the Mimona, right? Al Lifnei Pesach, if he says until before the Pesach, Rabbi Meir says it's Asura Cheyagia, and Rabbi Yosef says Asura Cheyetzeh. So there's going to be a machloket if you use the terminology Ad Lifnei, because Ad Lifnei, does that mean like Ad Pesach or Ad Sheyeh Pesach? Says the Gemara. Kunam yain shani toem. We just said in the Mishnah, kunam yain, that I'm going to come and I'm going to taste. Amar Rabbi Yirmiyah, says Rabbi Yirmiyah, lechshetechshach tzarich she'ela lechacham. What does that mean? Even after it already becomes nighttime, you still need to do a she'ela. You still need to do a tarat nedarim. You have to ask from the hacham. Okay? That means that even though mi'ikar adin, you're allowed once it's mishetechshach, meaning once it gets not, you just said today. Once it becomes nighttime, it's the next day. So technically speaking, it should be permitted even without the she'elat chacham. Chachamim ichmiru that you should still do hatarat nedarim with a chacham. My time, what's the reasoning? Amar Rav Yosef, says Rav Yosef, gezerah hayom, right? Mishum yom echad. What does that mean? It's a gezerah, right? It's a gezerah of hayom, meaning that when you use the terminology hayom, because of Yom Echad. Because if you come and you say that Ayom, and you're going to be permitted without Mishetechshach, without asking, so then you're going to permit it Mishetechshach, even if you said Yom Echad. And Yom Echad we said was Asur Me'et Let. One more time. Yom Echad was going to be prohibited, right? me'et let. What does it mean me'et let? 24 hours. Correct? Was when you say 1 day is a full 24-hour cycle. So we come, what time did you make the neder? 5 p.m. 5 p.m. the next day. That's Yom Echad. It becomes nighttime in an hour and a half or whatever, 20 minutes now, because we're in the winter time. Doesn't matter. When you say Yom Echad and a Yom, there's a difference. Hayom is today. Finishes the Shikiyah, when we're finishing the Seter Kochavim, next day. When you say Yom Echad, 1 day, it's a full 24-hour cycle.
From the time that you said it.
From the time that you said it. So we put on a clock, a timer. 24 hours. Right? So therefore, because of that, that's why he says, Gizera Hayom Atu Yom Echad. Right? If we're going to come and we're going to permit you Hayom, right? You just said, I'm not going to drink anything today. If we're going to permit you right away at nighttime to come in to drink, so maybe next time you're going to say Yom Echad, and you're also going to drink at nighttime. Because you're going to say, I only said 1 day. So yeah, but 1 second, you can't. So because of that, they made a Gezerah, and you would still have to ask for the rabbi to do a Tarat Nedarim to get out of that problem. Okay, Samech Amubet, 60b. Elmaleh, so says the Bayit of Yosef Yachiv, so, Ligzor Yom Echad, Mishum Hayom. Make the same thing the other way around. What does that mean? Make a Gezerah to do with when a person comes and he says Yom Echad, that it's going to be a sur at shetechshach because of Hayom as well. For example, let's say the person is today, right now, 8:22 a.m. Yeah, 8:22 a.m. He comes and he makes a neder. He's not going to drink Yom Echad. When is he allowed to drink? Tomorrow after 8:22. Ask the Gemara.
24 hours.
Yeah, exactly. So 8:22. Yeah, so he comes and he says, if right now you just made a decree, that what was the decree? That right now I make a decree, Hayom, because of Yom Echad, that even though, if I said Hayom, when am I allowed to drink? Tonight, nightfall, I'm allowed to drink, no problem. But I still have to ask the Chacham. Why do I have to ask the Chacham? Because maybe next time I'm going to say Yom Echad, and I wouldn't have been able to. So therefore the Chacham is going to start asking me different questions until he comes out with what's true, what's halacha, what's going on. So therefore he's going to start testing me, going to start asking me. So therefore, if we made such a decree, Yom Echad, because of what? Yom Echad, we made the decree because of a Hayom, right? That means, sorry, we made the decree of the Yom because of Yom Echad. Do the other way around. Meaning tomorrow morning at 8:22 a.m., I'm going to say it already passed Yom Echad. And therefore, it should be permitted for me to come and to drink. Iowa. But 1 second, somebody's going to start saying, 1 second. It was permitted for him to drink. What happens if he says a Yom? You could come and you could miksat Yom Kikulo, whatever it is. You did part of the day. It's mutar. So make a decree that also on the Yom Echad that you would have to wait to nighttime as well. Meaning it's not enough just the 24 hours. It's the 24 hours plus you have to finish the day. Why? Because of a Yom.
But Ayom, yesterday, Ayom finished last
But one more time. So Elmaleh says of Yosef to Abaye, Hayom b'Yom Echad michlaf. Yom Echad be'Hayom lo michlaf. What does that mean? When you say Hayom, and it's going to be mutar until nighttime, then you're going to permit the Yom Echad. Right? Why? Because after it already became nighttime, you're going to think, listen, it already passed 1 night. Meaning like this, it's right now 8:22 a.m. I come in and say Yom Echad. Tonight, what do I say? It's the next day. It's like in the secular calendar, Lavdil, but it's the same thing in the Hebrew calendar. Secular calendar, the second becomes 12:01. It's the next day. It could be the next year. You understand? That means it completely, right? 11:59 and 12:01, completely different halachot. So, Lavdil elaf avdalo, but the exact same thing with the Hebrew calendar, right? I would have thought to say, I just said Yom Echad. Tonight, it's already the next day. It's already Yom Sheni. Today was Yom Shishi. Tonight is already Yom Shabbat. It's a completely different day. So I would have had a Havamina that even though you come and you said, and that's what he's saying over here, when you say Yom b'Yom Echad is going to be Michlaf, why? Because I would say it's a different day. But Yom Echad b'Yom lo Michlaf. But you would never make a mistake when you say Yom Echad that it's going to be permitted in the middle of the day. You're going to start saying, no. So now in the middle of the day, it's permitted in the middle of the day. It doesn't work. Right? And that's what I think David was trying to say, that the entire concept was, is that the concept is different. Right? Because when you come and you say Yom Echad, tonight is a different day. When you say Hayom, listen, I apologize. Hayom is Hayom. Today is today. I'm not going to come and say, since you were permitted, well, you started yesterday. You started a different count. Okay? So Amar Ravina comes and he says, Amar li Minemar, says Minemar, Hachi Amar Avuch Mishmeh Rav Yosef. This is what your father says in the name of Yosef. Who's the one that goes like this Braita that says that you still have to ask the rabbi to do a Tara Nedarim? Rabbi Natan like Rabbi Natan. The Tanya was going to the Braita. Rabbi Natan says, Kol anoder kilu bana bama. Anybody that comes and makes a neder, it's like he built a bama. Remember, this was talking about during the times that it's a sur the bama. We learned this yesterday. If you're going to be mekayem the neder, it's metiralea. It's like you're being a ketoret, right, on the bama, which means that the fact that you came and you were even mekayem the neder, that was also going to be bad. Why is it going to be bad? Because at the end of the day, you're not supposed to make nedarim. So even though you came and you were mekayem the neder, it's also going to be bad. So therefore, that's why he comes and he says that since the person that made the neder did it not proper, so therefore the chachamim came and they were machmirim on him that he has to do a tarat nedarim because it was not proper even to be mekayem the neder. It's not good to make nedarim. Even if you're going to be mekayem otam, it's also not good. Because of that, they were machmirim that they said that you had to come and you had to do a tarat nedarim. 2 dots. Shabbat zo, asur b'chol Shabbat kula. If you come and you say that you're not going to taste wine the entire week is going to be prohibited. Pshita, obviously. So says the Gemara, no, Mal the time I would have thought to say Yomed the Shabbat Akama. His kavanah was only during the days of the week and not on Shabbat itself. Kamashmalan comes teach you that is coming from Shabbat itself also. Nothing to do with Shabbat in itself, the Shabbat before. Right? If you were on Tuesday, so it's Tuesday until Shabbat. But it's not Mish Shabbat the Shabbat. It's basically from when you made the neder until Shabbat.
But generally, what is the definition of a week? A week is from Motzei Shabbat until...
But you didn't say a week. You said Shabbat zo, this week. There's a big difference between Shabbat zo and a week. If you say a week, it's a 24-hour period, week to a week. But if you say Shabbat zo, it means this week.
What is the definition of a week?
Yeah,
week is
for
from
sure.
Motzei Shabbat until Motzei Shabbat.
No, at Shabbat.
Whatever it is, until Shabbat, it doesn't matter.
Until Shabbat included.
Okay.
So then it's...
no, because when you come and you say the week, I would have thought to say that Shabbat, maybe Shabbat is already for the next week. So he comes and he says, no, the Shabbat is from last week. The Shabbat has to do with last week's. So for example, if you're right now Friday, so you have to do Friday and Shabbat. If you're Tuesday until Shabbat. It's not from Shabbat to Shabbat. It's basically from whenever you are in the week until the Shabbat. Okay, and it's including the Shabbat. Okay? The same thing says, Chodesh Zeh. What about this month? So it says, Asur b'chol chodesh, you're prohibited the entire month. Rosh Chodesh laba. However, though, the Rosh Chodesh is for next month. Okay, the Rosh Chodesh is for the next month. Okay, so he comes and he says, Chodesh Zeh, Asur b'chol chodesh laba.
What if it's a 2-day Rosh Chodesh? Because you could think that...
We didn't speak about that yet. So says the Gemara, Pshita, 1 second. He comes and he says, it's Pashut, that Rosh Chodesh is not from the previous month. For sure it's going to be for the next month. So answers the Gemara, Ki tzricha, what's the Chidush? Chodesh Chaser. We're talking about a case where the Chodesh was of 29 days. And if so, right, a Chodesh Elmaleh is always 30 days. So when it's Chodesh Chaser, right, what happens is we do 2 days of Rosh Chodesh. The first one is the 30th of the month. And the second one is going to be the next day. So Ma'u the Tema, I would have thought to say Rosh Chodesh L'Shavarabe. That means that the Yom Shloshim is of the 30th, meaning like, for example, tomorrow. Tomorrow is the 30th of the month. So I would have added a Havamina. What? Yeah. So I would have thought a Havamina that the Rosh Chodesh, since tomorrow is Lamed, and then Aleph is only going to be on Sunday. So therefore, I would have had the Havamina to come and to say that the day of the Shloshim, which is tomorrow, is still the Chodesh HaKodem. The Litzar, and it should be part of the Neder. Kamashmalan comes teach you the Mishnah, Karu Inche Resh Yarcha, that people still call it Rosh Chodesh. And since people call the 30th of the month Rosh Chodesh, it belongs to the next month. It belongs to the next month. Okay? Makes sense? So Shana Zo, when it says this year, Asur b'chol Shana Kula, is going to be prohibited the entire year. Ibailus, we ask the question, Amar kunam yain shani toem yom. Imagine a person comes and he says that the kunam yain that he's not going to taste today, my what's halakha? Dine kimo hayom or kimo yom echad. Now we said yom echad is 1 day. Hayom is 2 days. What about shani toem yom? Day. He didn't say 2 days, and he didn't say 1 day. He said day. Which one is it? Is it 1 day or is it 2 days?
In any case, he's gonna.
So Tashema Matznitin, we're going to bring a proof from the Mishnah. The Mishnah says Kunam Yain Shani Toem Hayom, and Asur Shach. It's only going to be prohibited until the nighttime. Hayom Yom Echad. So Yom is mashma, Yom Echad. Says the Gemara, what are you talking about? Let's see the Seifa. The exact opposite. Seifa says, Amad Yom Echad, Asum Yom Liyom. Hayom, Kayom Dami. So you can't bring a proof from the Mishnah. Because if you're coming from the Mishnah, any one which you're saying, you're going to say it's the other way around. So from the Reisha that it said Hayom, so obviously Yom is like Yom Echad. But from the Seifa that Yom Echad, so Yom is like Hayom. So you can't bring a proof from the Mishnah. The Mishnah, you cannot come and bring a proof. So Ravashi comes and he says, Tashma, we're going to bring a proof. Kunam yain shani toem hashana. If a person comes and he says he's not going to taste any wine this year, the nitabra shana, and all of a sudden now it became a leap year. Yeah? So asur ba uvibura. It becomes prohibited also in the year and also in the extra month of the leap year. So the Adar Sheni, right? Don't think that you got it off. Right? You have it as well. So says the
Why would you think otherwise, Rabbi?
Which one?
Why would you think otherwise?
Because at the end of the day, because you only said Shana, and the Adar Sheni was not part of the Shana. It's an extra month. But now we're going to ask, 1 minute. Says the Gemara, Hechi Dami, how's the case? Ilema Samechalef Amud Aleph on the top. Ilema Kidiktani, if you're going to tell me that he said, Kunam Yain Shani Toem Hashana this year, Lama Lilamimra, why did the Mishnah have to tell you that if it became a Shana Muberet, right? Well, 1 second. If it's Shana Muberet, it's also part of the year. Ela Lav de Amar, but rather it's because you said Shana. Alma, so you see from here, Shana Kehashana Dami. When you say Shana, Shana is like this year, like Hashana. So Yom Echad, you say also Yom, it's also like Hayom Dine. So therefore, we're trying to come and we're trying to bring a proof that just like if you said Shana, it means Hashana this year. So too, when you say Yom, it's like Hayom, which is today, not Yom Echad, Hayom, today. That's what we're trying to bring. And the Gemara is going to obviously push this off. You know, we'll just actually finish the disproof. The Gemara says, Lo, really, it's not like that. Leolam de Aman Hashana. Really, you did say the word Hashana. You didn't say Shana, and then we came and we were bringing it. You said Hashana. So Mao the time I would have thought to say Lachar Rov Shani. Go after the majority of the years. Velo Itzbeu Ibur. Majority of the years, you don't have a leap year. So if you don't have a leap year, the majority of the years, it's not considered part of it. So Mashmalan comes to teach you that at the end of the day, since you said until the end of the year, and now the leap year is part of the year, so therefore it's going to be prohibited until the end of the year.